Hi, welcome back to HBW-TV for part 5 of this video. Most of the time we see that a lot of people are not aware that they are causing the mental illness in case of parents, or maybe they're not aware that they're experiencing the mental illnesses. What do you have to say about this, and what do you think is an appropriate, realistic measure to combat this issue?
Well, this is a chicken or egg story really. It's not an easy problem to be solved. On one hand, the world expects paper results.
Yes.
In our current trend in our country now.
Especially here in Asia.
In Asia especially, it's not about your experience and your ability that is quantified, it's what shows on your paper. Number two, like I said, goal-directed parenting. Every parent likes, wishes, prays, dreams, whatever word you want to use, that your child comes out with flying colors in exam papers. Not about living skills or life skills, but paper results that says, I got all A's. Now I've seen people who have all A's but can't make a cup of coffee when they're 17 or 18. Now that to me is not a well-balanced person. It's not a 360-degree development. They can't put petrol in a tank. You know, simple skills they are not able to do, but yet they have all A's, and that's cheered. That is welcomed by most people and say, oh sure, this person can go to uni.
It's celebrated.
And celebrated, and they are hero worshipped, you know. And they come out with a degree with no life skills, no living skills. So this is when trauma starts. When they go through their first problem, then they learn what is not being able to cope. And that could be the start of everything.
So do you then believe, following up from that, that we do not have enough awareness when it comes to mental illnesses in Malaysia?
Yes, definitely. We do not have kind of a global perspective of what can lead to what, and we're not taking a step back to look at our problem seriously. What we're doing now is what I call patch treatment. You know, if there is a leak, put a patch on it, not investigate why this happened. So patch it up and then it's forgotten. So until the next breakthrough, then you patch that and then it's forgotten. So I think it's time for us to take a step back and look at a holistic global picture to see why is this happening.
So that is one of a very good suggestion to my following question, which is what can we do to combat this issue other than taking a global holistic approach? What other suggestions do you have that we can undertake?
I think this is where we need to say the preventive medicine part of it comes into play. How do you prevent or reduce conditions which lead to mental illnesses? For example, if there is a family history, strong family history of a certain type of mental illness, I think the family should be aware and should be monitoring the conditions and making all aspects to reduce the stress levels and look at ways of simplifying things in their life to prevent any incidents of a recurring mental illness. And the other thing is, of course, being watchful over many areas of their lifestyle, do things within their means and not expand themselves too much, which again increases lifestyle patterns. The third thing is, of course, keep things simple like family unity, family therapy, family activities. These are all therapeutic areas in life, and I think more time should be spent thinking of it diagnostically. As I say, preventive medicine, you can look at all things that would be helpful in preventing the incidents. And if a mental health problem happens, then we go to the second stage of preventive medicine, which is early identification and initiating the right treatment. Maybe it's just talk therapy, maybe it's just some antidepressant, but early treatment and the right treatment. Then is the third part of preventive medicine, the tertiary part, which is if there is the unfortunate situation where the illness becomes quite rampant or quite serious, then ensure that the treatment is appropriate, right type of treatment for the right duration of time, and all the support services that person needs should be put in place.
All right. So given this situation that we have, what would you advise someone to do when they have like an early stage of mental illness? Because everyone is susceptible to it.
Yeah. I think my just simple 2 words, seek help. Do not hesitate, just seek help. It may be nothing. And you go away feeling reassured, oh, this is very common. Say 8 out of 10 people experience this. It's not a problem yet. Try and adjust your life this way. Could be the advice you get. And that will be helpful because you go off with a lot of weight off your shoulders. Yeah. So seek help is 2 words I would like to say.
We do have this somewhat of a doctor culture here in Asia where people run to doctors for every little issue and that causes overcrowding in the hospitals and things like that. Do you think that love, support from family, and a little bit of self-help remedies from home is enough to combat mild mental issues?
It depends on the society. For example, most countries in the West, we call it a mature society, in a mature system, where people don't even go to doctors for simple cough, cold, fever. They just go buy medication from the pharmacy and they self-treat themselves unless it becomes bad enough for them to think, I need medical intervention. So it's a mature society which is aware and is able to monitor. Whilst in Malaysia, you see so many patients in a clinic for sore throat. And that's where the problem starts. All the love and care from the family will not solve the sore throat, but simple medication would. When it comes to mental health problem, it's the same. Because if there is no professional help, then the family is going to struggle with all kinds of thoughts about the mental health problem. Sad to say, although family intervention is an essential part of maintaining wellness, where the society is not mature enough, it may be the downfall because people can be very dismissive. Yes. You keep on complaining, so don't bother. Could be something that the family says, and that would have negative effect.
More grateful for everything you have.
Yeah, exactly. That's a counter statement. Are you not happy that you're at least having breakfast?
Yeah.
Are you complaining about no sausages or no eggs on the table? Just be happy you're having something to eat. Yeah. So again, I would say in our society, as much as I would like to say family help, the love, support and caringness may be a useful tool, I would think it's not enough.
I see. So given this whole journey of someone with a mental condition, at what stage do you consider the most important time to seek help from a psychologist or a counselor?
I think, like I said in the previous question, the earlier you see somebody for professional help, the better it will be. For example, like I said, it may be nothing to worry about. Come back and see me in 3 months. Or yes, I think we should look at some consideration for some kind of treatment. So I think the earlier you see a professional, the better it is.
What would you consider a comment on the weight between mental health and physical health and their importance that they're given in today's society?
Okay, another interesting question. These mental health problems and physical health problems in some areas may be interlinked. Some mental health problems may even be caused by the medication you're taking for a physical health problem. And this is why something important is you seek professional help because like for example, people with diabetes are commonly known to suffer from depression because genetically the gene can be co-shared. So it's best in all these areas to get professional help because there could be a connection between the two. So it's hard to decide by oneself whether this is linked or not. Best is to get professional help.
Definitely. And following up on that for our last question, considering that you recommend seeking professional help at almost every stage of both mental and physical illnesses, focusing on mental illnesses, do you believe that we have a sufficient number of psychologists in the country to combat this influx of patients?
Yeah, the people who deal with mental health problems, maybe I can broadly classify them into three major groups. One is the psychiatrist, then the psychologist, then you have the counselors. Yeah, you find counselors now almost in most places, in most schools, even most companies have started hiring counselors. As for psychologists, I think we are still badly in need. We have shortage of psychologists in the country, and for psychiatrists, even more shortage. Now, all medical specialists, there is a shortage in Malaysia. But then, having said all of this, I'm saying sometimes numbers or quantity does not always equal quality. We are seeing this in our current situation where there's surplus of doctors, some of them waiting to start work, and some who just leave after a few years of working. And that doesn't mean that the system is functioning very well. And we do not want to make the same mistake of rushing into increasing the numbers without quality. So I think there should be a balance in all of this, and a lot of thinking put down to organizing the healthcare.
Thank you very much, Professor. That was very insightful. And thank you for joining us on this episode of HBW-TV. We hope to see you in the next one.